everybody. It is September 28th, 2023, 10 a.m. on this lovely Thursday morning.
Yay.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, so now one thing, everybody. Sorry for no podcast last week. I'm not going to get into it. I had a personal matter get involved, and I was just not up doing a podcast.
Life got in the way.
Yes, life got in the way.
Excuse me.
For my friends who listen to the podcast, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to say anything else on that, okay? Moving on, next month is Spooky Month. So we're going to have a couple different topics come on. We will talk a little bit about, maybe like some films or stuff, but we're going to try to keep it more on the light, maybe a little horror, creepy factor, because, this is, for us over here, everyone, the holiday season starts in September, because we start getting all of our decorations out.
It takes that long, guys.
Yeah, it really. The worst thing is, though, it takes us longer to put up the Halloween decorations than it does the Christmas decorations. I hate saying that.
Go figure.
Well, the Christmas stuff we pretty much know. Boom, boom, boom. We're so used to doing it.
Yeah, why not?
We can look. Hey, Christmas will. Decoration will go.
Everything has its place, and they're still figuring it out for the Halloween. Of course, when you get new stuff like we did this year too, it even makes. Wow, we're going to have to switch this with that, and oh boy, now we're going to put whatchamacallit.
Yeah, we had to move the Halloween town downstairs, which I still got to hook up. Because Dad's got his little kitten, his new kitten, and then Mom got her cat, her little light up cat, which actually looks good. That
yeah.
When I got her for her birthday, that looks better than what I thought it would.
Yeah.
I just got to get her to paint that sign I got her that said, fall and trick or treat.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing really going on too much, I would say, film-wise. I know Expendables came out.
Yeah.
I didn't know when you wanted to go see that.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. We are going to go see it in theaters, everybody. Of course, right, and the Marvels comes out in November, so that's kind of one of the big things. Also, I don't know any horror movies that are really coming out right now. I mean, this next month.
They really have been saying.
Nuh-uh, because usually there's at least like one horror movie that comes out in a month. Like last year we saw Halloween Ends.
That was worth it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see it again.
Yeah. I will say. Yeah, let's see. We got Halloween. Yeah, we don't have the original Halloween. You know that, right?
Right.
But we got that. We got the Halloween like 40 years later. Did we ever get Halloween Kills?
Have to check.
I have to check. I know. I want to get this because I really like the movie. Everybody. I mean, it's not. It was a different way of how to tell a horror story. It also it also kind of had like an old timey, like early horror feel to it. Almost kind of had a little Alfred Hitchcock, in my opinion.
Yeah, a little bit Alfred Hitchcock, and also the old quote unquote classic black and white types.
More the psychological aspect of
than actually the blood, guts, and gore.
I mean, the death scenes were good. Don't get me wrong on that one. The Halloween Ends was more psychological, and which that did not bother me.
No.
I started seeing that in Halloween Kills a little bit, but with that being said, I know we'll watch a couple of horror movies and everything, and talk about them.
Horror, not horrible.
You mean Sharknado? Yeah, I threw that out there.
Others. Yeah, you went that way with Sharknado.
I think there's one called Zombie-nado.
Yeah. Atomic NATO. You didn't know about that one?
I knew about Fire-nado.
Yeah, Fire-nado. I'm going to sit down and count them all up for giggles.
Yeah, so this next month we'll be focusing a little bit on the horror aspect. Might even mention some horror video games. Everybody, going to look into maybe when we're talking about certain things like putting, I will edit, which will take me a little while, so I did the podcast early. Like some horror stuff involved in it, like like stuff I can show without us getting we're not monetized anyway, without us getting struck by the YouTube guards or whatever you want to call them. So, only thing I have heard is, of course, there's a whole thing's going on with Disney with the Snow White thing. I heard a little bit about that, but it's the usual stuff. Like, I heard it's getting bad. There's not many details, not stuff me and you haven't talked about before. It's just mostly how it's
rehashing the same old, same old. Mm-hmm. They hadn't talked much about it because it goes against their grain.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Nothing much going on in Warner Brothers besides the fact Blue Beetle bombed, and
I hate that, I really do.
It didn't look all right. Don't get me wrong; it did not look bad, but I think the issue is with James Gunn. I know he's the one in charge of the DC. Whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have the same feel as the MCU, which that's fine. You don't want them to have the same feel. But the one formula, though, that the MCU had compared to that is Kevin already had things planned out, how to introduce characters here and there and everything, and how to make it.
He had stuff lined up.
All right? I kind of feel like they're just throwing everything.
Throwing it out there, and you figure it out.
Like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman are three of your big hitters. Now, I still think they dropped the ball on Shazam with Black Adam versus Superman. I still think that, because I think if done properly, that could expand it, the whole DC universe.
It's more like an afterthought.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, because we know the Flash bombed, and I hate that because I like Michael Keaton. But besides that, I just don't see anything that DC brings to the table. I kind of wish they would just stick with. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. The best thing DC does, believe it or not, is their animated movies.
Yeah. And
they need to stick with that. I mean, if they. Unfortunately, we can't do Kevin Conroy past everybody, but when they did that last animated film with Kevin Conroy, what was the Justice League versus the Fierce? It was something like the Fearsome Five or something.
Yeah.
That was set in the old
school.
Well, the old animated universe that had Batman the animated series, Superman animated series, Justice League Unlimited. It was set in that universe.
Yeah.
Later on, and introduced Miss Martian. They could continue with stuff like that, making they could bring out a story every 6 months, every year, and it would go over good, in my opinion.
Well, at least enough to get them started.
Mm-hmm. Might want to get a little closer to the mic.
Get them started back up, since they backed off on some things. Part of the problem with the Blue Beetle, dealing with Warner Brothers back in the day, well, rather when I was growing up and there were TV shows, it was all done on the cheap. They cut too many corners, and it showed.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good, like, for a television movie, from what I saw. The animation, like, the CGI wasn't bad, but I'm sitting there like, this is not movie quality, everybody. I mean, if it was like 1995, yeah, I mean, that would have been,
or if it had been a drive-in type movie.
Right, but you know exactly what
I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah, especially with the we're getting on to the writer's strike, and then the animators, not just the cartoonists, everybody, but the people who like the CGI are starting now to go on strike. They're trying to unionize, which I'm not. I'm not fully informed of unions in some regards, but
I understand why.
But I understand. No, I do understand why, and everyone like. The reason why I'm not for unions, everybody, is because the people in charge of the unions make a ton of money. and they pretty much bully the person. You're going to do what we say. We live in a right to work state, which means we have more freedom and rights when it comes to our job. Now, the union's supposed to be there to help people. Most unions down here don't. They're all in about themselves. But
you go on strike, you still pay your dues, and the fat cats at the union, they still get it all, just like they did before.
I know.
They don't suffer.
I know. That's my problem with the unions. All right. But I understand that the animators are wanting to unionize and stuff like that because they are getting screwed. They're doing long hours. You know, unfortunately, they don't either. You got the people not negotiating their contract, right? Or it's in their contract in like small print where, you know,
if you sneeze, you're fired.
Yeah. Oh, you're paid to work on this 5 minutes of film. It's going to take you a year to do, and everything. But you're going to get paid, $15,000-$20,000. Yet you're spending, 50, 60-hour work weeks doing it. It's not worth it.
You do some other jobs, work half the time, and make the same money.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm trying to keep from yawning. Now, I'm trying to think what else. So, I don't know what's with DC, like if it's going to work or not. I've pretty much just, unless it deals with the Batman, I'm not going to work on it. Worry about it.
Well, they were starting to open up, and now they just close the can back up. That's it.
What?
It's either Superman or Batman, and that's it.
Yeah. And I think the Batman would do good because it's its own thing. And, let's be honest. That was a damn good movie.
Yeah.
We're still talking about it.
Yes. You ready to see that one again?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I bought that special edition of it.
I know.
I rarely...
Well, I'll have to wait till after the holidays to put that in. I've got too many holiday stuff coming up. That's okay.
Yeah, we can watch that in January.
Yeah.
We can watch that middle of January. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Now, another thing that is, and this is getting to the AI, everybody. Now, this is going to be the rest of the topic talking about AI. I know there's big fear with the AI going on still and everything, and AI is getting smarter. There supposedly now AI is going to be doing animations. I don't know if that's... Well, we've seen a little bit of that because the opening of Secret Invasion is all done like that.
Yes.
Now, I know some people are upset about that, and they went with a cheap way out for it. Now, for that opening though, I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, like I said, now everyone, I'm not the type of person to take money away from artists, but I can see the business side of everything too. I see both sides of the argument. I'd hate to see how much that costs to get a group of animators to animate that, because of the flowing of back and forth and how it did. I'm sitting there like, you would drop some.
That would take a lot of work to do that.
Right.
Physically.
Yes. Okay. Now, because that was more of in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, what is that dadgum artist? He's got one of his famous paintings, because it kind of reminded me of it, and you might be able to help me. His famous painting is where he's got the guy like this, over his hand, screaming like in the background. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I don't remember his name.
But I can see the painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the screaming face, and it's like he's like out in a field. It's kind of dark. It's kind of reminds me of the same brush strokes.
Yeah.
A little bit. Now, like I said, I understand people, they were scared there, but I'm saying like that was just mostly like different stills, like with a little bit of movement there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm like 50-50 on. Okay. I'll be honest with you. I'm 50-50 on. I figured it only works for that particular series, Secret Invasion. All right.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys are asking also about computer animation or AI, it has been used already in film as well as television in the anime, especially over in Asia and Japan. Everybody. One of the first times I heard about this, and I think I've talked about it before, was when I remember I asked you and Mom. It was right when we bought the karate school, and I was working. At the time, it was when I was still living on my own. Okay, and I quit my serving job, and I was doing that full time because y'all want me to focus on school and that. And we were making money from the school, so I was able to, offset everything until landlord. So this was probably about a week before I moved back. I start moving back in. Okay.
Yeah.
I asked to go see a movie. I said, hey, can I go see a movie? If this is the only time it's going to be on, I'd like to go see it.
Yeah, we said go.
Right. Thank God it was Wednesday. It was a slow night for us. And it literally was a slow night for us at the karate school. Well, if I remember correctly, nobody showed up for the advanced class. So you and Mom got caught up on some paperwork. Then we had our adult class. Only had just you and it was BK and Harm.
Yeah.
I mean that's what it was one of those rare slow nights. Well, I went and saw the first Naruto movie, and they were talking about parts of the animation process, and they were using examples here and there how they were not only doing the traditional animation, you see the Hokage's faces was all hand painted.
Yeah.
Old fashioned style.
And
right, and of course, a lot of the movement, was done by hand, but they used a AI computer to fill in the spaces. Here's an example. You remember Neji when he does his 8 trigrams, 68 palms, and stuff like that. How he also does his rotation and everything. How it's so smooth and everything. Well, a computer filled in the gaps between the animation cells.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah, between the not cells. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh crap! Almost like storyboard, filling in the storyboard.
Yeah, and it was and they were sitting there saying it's small details because they sit there and said, we're doing the old-fashioned way. Of course, we are scanning into the computer and everything and putting on, and the computer's filling it in so it has that fluidity. And they're showing it without it. It's still very fluid without it. And they actually showed, this was part of the making. They were showing it. While I was in the theater, they're showing here it is normally.
Yeah.
Here it is with it. Most people couldn't see a difference. I could see a difference. I'm saying, whoa, that's, both ways were good, but I saw, okay, well, it makes it more fluid. That's fine. That's where AI, I'm all for. Right. Now, I know getting into that, of course I said something about the voice actors thing.
Yes.
And that's getting really, really,
touchy subject.
Yeah, no, it really is because it's getting scary good. All right, there's a YouTube channel that I do follow because I find the conversations personally funny. Okay, everybody, it's all satire. All right. I know some people are going to yell at me for it or in the comics, but basically it's 3 people arguing over certain things. All right. Sometimes it's very adult, very X-rated stuff. I am not going to repeat what they said because we would get striked so far fast and everything.
Just trust us on it.
Yeah, but it's
they go potty mouth.
No, I wouldn't say. Well, they bleep out the cuss words, but there was some insinuations as well.
Innuendos.
Well, they I want to, I'll tell you after the podcast, we would do. But what it is, and you're going to laugh about this, okay? And they're in a group chat, like you see with other people, all right? Discord server. It's 3 presidents. It's President Biden, President Trump and President Obama all talking with each other, like they're friends, and they're like, like you'll hear like
sitting around having a cup of coffee.
Well, and it sounds real. Like they'll even sit there and be like, what, like, Joe, what'd you do, you stupid idiot? Or they'll be yelling at Trump, or they'll be yelling at Obama. It's like, oh, Obama, you didn't do, acting like, right. And they do certain things and everything, and it's supposed to be like combos. It's funny because it reminds me of like three old men arguing, okay? Which technically really is three old men arguing, okay? But it's all done by AI because their voices sound just like them, okay? And I'm sitting there like, oh crap! That's scary.
Well, what scares people on that is they'll be stealing, and they're afraid they'll dub in their voice, and they're not getting any credit for using the sound of their voice, although they didn't say the actual words. And then the next thing it brings up is resurrect the dead actors.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah, and now I'm against that type of stuff. Okay, now if you have somebody who's like starting out and they use like a voice thing because they can't hire voice actors, which I understand because hiring voice actors, everyone, is expensive, all right? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm the type of person, time is money. If I knew a friend, he was doing an animation type of thing, you okay? And he needed me to do like some lines in this. He said, Gavin, it's going to take all day for us to do like these this. It might be 2 days. But like, okay, I can't do 2 days in a row. I can do 1 day, 1 week, and 1 day another week. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm giving up some of my free time. Yeah, I want a little compensation, all right? But as somebody who's an amateur, I'll be like, okay, you got to think, and I write a contract up, okay? Now, some people be like, oh, it's going to be $400 a day. $400 a day, if you're working a part-time job, a full-time job, everybody, and you're doing this on the side, that's going to take you a couple months to get $400. Because you got to save that money. Me personally, be like, okay, I'm going to have to figure out how much it's going to be back and forth for gas. And I sit there be like, dude, and I said, and this is just me personally, be like, dude, I need food. Like, I'm not talking about like snacks and everything. Look, if you give me a water and 2 hot dogs, with some mustard, I said, I'll be fine for food. Yeah. Because, we're going to be working inside a booth, and, I'm not going to want something like, dude, I can do it with hot dogs and water. That's fine. But that's me. Even if I was a famous voice actor, I'd be like, helping some start
rookie.
It's like, dude, give me some tacos and I'll be good. Give me 2 tacos from Taco Bell. Yeah. I'd be like, yeah. Pay me this much because I sit there, But
when you do hit it big, you will remember me.
Right. But I can see somebody using a voice amplifier. Like, I can record stuff in my voice. Yeah. And I can use AI, sit there and say, okay, make my voice more gargly, I was like, okay, yeah, good. I did all the voices, but I had AI change up my voice here, and here.
You mean speaking like this?
You mean speaking like this?
Yeah.
This is something I can actually do. I can actually go really high if I need to. Oh, I haven't done that in a while.
And not having to use helium.
Yeah, that's me not using helium, everybody. I can go low if I need to.
Pretty low. Yeah, baritone, yeah.
Well, I haven't tried talking a lot. I had to do that. You have to actually change up how you have to do like all this and everything.
Oh, well.
But
all the contortions you have to go through.
No, you actually have to. If you look at...
That's a contortion.
But with the AI coming out now also is, they're also afraid, it's going to start making video games.
Yeah.
And now somebody, I like the video game industry. I don't think an AI can make a game as well. A basic game, yeah, but I don't think they can make something as good as some of these other ones because it's an art form. Now.
Well, if they just make a same old level shoot 'em up, the only difference is the characters. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know how to put it personally. It worries me in a lot of sense because, also, what about with book writing? Are people just going to use book writing, it's all AI generated?
Yeah, just go to the algorithm. You want this, this, and this, and let it spit it out.
I mean, I'm writing a story with an AI, but I'm using it to test certain things. Like, I might give it the full description of what I was like. Oh, I'm gonna test this idea out and see where it goes. So okay, and I'm making certain points in when I'm saving it. What I would take out. No, it was going good, really good here. Nah,
Yeah, that's not what you had in mind. Doesn't flow with your thought.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm testing it out, see if I can get, because it's almost like, and using it for something like that to test an idea out. There's no problem with that.
Bouncing it off the board.
Bingo. So, I'm checking real quick, seeing if I.
We don't really need to do numbers, do we?
No.
There's nothing really happening. Kind of slow right now, which is unusual.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure the strikes had a lot to do with that.
Oh, definitely.
Well, while we're in break mode, I'll throw out there. This past week we lost an actor that was beloved by many, especially in the series that he was in. And David McCallum, if you don't know who that is, he went by the name of Ducky or Dr. Mallard on NCIS. He's going to be sorely missed by those folks and the fans. The NCIS family.
Yeah, he's been doing it. He was doing that role for
he was in the first one. Over 20 years. And a lot of people won't know or remember because they weren't born yet, but first series he was in was a pseudo-spy type series of the 60s, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. You can go look that up. And he played the character Ilya Kuryakin. He was a Russian agent. And U.N.C.L.E. was an acronym for United Network Command for Law Enforcement, in case you didn't know.
In other words, he was pre-Interpol.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a pseudo-Interpol type.
Right. So, yeah, I seen him 1 or 2 episodes of The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
No, it wasn't bad.
No, it really wasn't bad.
No, not time period.
So, yeah, unfortunately, everybody, he passed. I don't know how they're going to answer that in NCIS.
90 years of age.
Speaking of NCIS, do you know they have a new one coming out?
Really?
Yeah, this one's set in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, now you're getting overboard. Like,
well, that's about as bad as FBI International. FBI International, what?
Oh, I know. It's like FBI. Now it's NCIS, and I'm just like, oh, Lord. What's next? And I gotta make a joke. FBI in
NCFBI?
No, FBI NCIS in space. Sorry.
You had to go that way.
If that happens, everybody, I'm going to sue CBS for my stealing my idea.
For real.
All right, that's all I got for today, everybody. Anything you want to add, Dad?
Nope.
All right, everybody. Remember, be safe out there. Don't do anything stupid. That's about it. We will see you next week, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week and start of your weekend. We are out.